You're catching up with Spotlight, the home of arts, culture and new Irish music, live on Dublin City FM 103.2.
Hello and welcome to Spotlight. I'm Ruth Medjber and this is your weekly guide to arts, culture and brand new Irish music. This week is a very special week, obviously, because it's Halloween and we have loads of events and exhibitions and all sorts of things to tell you about that you can fill your bank holiday weekend with. I'm currently broadcasting to you from the west of Ireland in my camper van. Not ideal for recording a radio show, I've just found out, because you can probably hear the wind blowing a gale outside, which might add to the old spooky atmosphere. In the next 2 hours, I'm going to be bringing you a live musical session from a fantastic new artist that I am just in love with. Her name is Kez. She's going to be here singing 3 songs for us. We will also have a very spine-tingling poetry performance from the poet Geoff. So stick with us. Now I'm going to kick off with some brand new Irish tunes. This is a song from Sammy Copley. It is called The Irish Goodbye.
By God, I'd love to love it here, the only home I've known. And sure, I'd miss the evening mist and glistening cobblestone. But it gets late at 10 to 8, and leaving's in my bones. I've yearned for years to run from here to meet a brighter sky, to leave a while this fading isle where good things learn to die. But saying this, I'd be remiss to think I wouldn't cry. By God, I'd love to love it here, the only home I've known. I'd miss the cold and sayings old and glistening cobblestone. But it's our way to never stay, and leaving's in my bones.
If you're looking for something cultural to do this weekend, and sure, look, why wouldn't you be? The Library Project has their 8th edition of their annual print fair. It's called Halftone, and it happens in their gallery shop space in Temple Bar Square. And it's an amazing opportunity for you to go and to have a look at what contemporary Irish printmakers are bringing out. It's also a great opportunity to put your hand in your pocket and buy some art. I don't want to mention it, but you know that big holiday gifting season thing is coming up. This is a good chance for you to support Irish art and buy some deadly presents. Next up, I want to play for you another brand new Irish tune. This is from an artist called Jean, who plays the harp, also in her day job. Listen to this. How perfect is this for Halloween? She is a funeral director and embalmer. Wow. And I think you can kind of hear that spiritual creepiness in her work. This is a fantastic song called The Dawn Chorus, and it features a spoken word performance from the actor Stephen Ray.
Itself, but dreams we miss, say the psychologists, and the poets too. We yearn for that reality in this. There is another world resides in this, amidst the muddy fields, a pool of blue. It is not sleep itself, but dreams we miss. If we could once achieve a synthesis of the archaic and the entirely new, we yearn for that reality in this. But wide awake, clear-eyed with cowardice, the flaming seraphim we find untrue. It is not sleep itself, but dreams we miss. Listening, heartbroken to the dawn chorus, clutching the certainty that once we flew. We yearn for that reality in us. Awaiting still our metamorphosis, we hoard the fragments of what once we knew. It is not sleep itself, but dreams we miss. We yearn for that reality in us.
Let's kick it up a gear now, shall we? The amazing Sorcha Richardson, who of course had her debut album out a few weeks ago that stormed the charts. This is a remix of her song Shark Eyes, done by no other than the brilliant Irish artist Geoff. now another event, the cutest one of all, Halloween. The Dogs Trust out in their pound in Finglas. I don't know if we call it a pound, do we? It's a rehoming facility or something like that. Anyway, Dogs Trust Ireland are having an event this Saturday, the 29th of October, during the afternoon. And what it is you get to go out there, and it's an educational experience for kids and families to go and meet some dogs and learn about the responsibilities of having a dog or getting a puppy and what's involved and everything else. So they're encouraging you to bring your family out, bring your kids out. Don't bring your dogs, they're saying. It's not a dog-friendly event in that way. But pop out and meet some puppies. They do say it's fancy dress, but get this, you have to take your masks off when you meet the puppies because you don't want to be scaring them now, do you? It's not a free event because, of course, they're a charity and they do rely an awful lot on donations. So prices between €7 and €25 for a family. Sounds like good crack. Something worthwhile to be doing this weekend. Halloween in the Dogs Trust Centre. I want to play another new tune for you. This is by a band called Constant Supply, and the song I'm going to play by them is called The Curse of Amor Fou. Amor Fou. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And when I googled it, Amor Fou means crazy love, but randomly it's also an episode of The Sopranos. Have a little listen to this.
Jet helmet, nice jacket, leather gloves, boots familiar, stock still in the moment, looking at us through B's front window, dismounts and proceeds to give her a wave, reciprocated, said motion drains the blood from her face, matching the curtains, and the curse of Amor Fou. Tethered blissful fool. The curse of Amor Fou. If we sing it, girls are like, knocked in, repeats like rattling bones. Not quite my tempo, turning white as a sheet would suggest that she knows. Or guess from Adam, my clear anamnesis enters my brain, illuminating, spilled ash on a carpet, boots enter frame, cherry Doc Martens, and the curse of Amor Fou. Tethered blissful fool. The curse of Amor Fou. Guess he's calling for the briefcase. It's eye-widening contents could revive us, galvanize us, a fresh chapter to bloom, time to shake off Walter Freeman, his namesake would be chuckling at the news. Oh, what a coincidence, I said, oh, tell me it's true. Guess he's calling for the briefcase. It's eye-widening contents could revive us, galvanize us, a fresh child.
we're just going to keep the brand new Irish music pumping here. This is by Neil Dexter. Neil Dexter, of course, who appears on so many Irish records as an amazing collaborator. Recently worked with Dahi. I saw him play live there in Dahi's set last week. Absolutely mind-blowing stuff. This is his song called Robert Wyatt.
Don't be scared. Let your melodies wander. I don't know how you could deal with that, Robert Wyatt. Four stories before. How come I never heard triumphant entrances and sirens at the end of Little Red Riding Hood? All you had was your melody. Thank you, Robert, for beating a single drum with your finger. And I'm sorry, Robert, for leaving it so long to hear you singing. Thank you, Robert, for beating a single drum. And I'm sorry, Robert, for leaving it so long. Moon in June makes me miss your rolling sled, howling above the organ. Those fleeting sounds and solar flares, melodies wandering, I just didn't listen. Was it just those 6 notes? Thank you, Robert, for beating a single drum with your finger. And I'm sorry, Robert, for leaving it so long to hear you singing. Thank you, Robert, for beating a single drum. And I'm sorry, Robert, for leaving it so long.
Mother is back this weekend. You know what that means. It's going to be great crack. It's down in Lost Lane. Ghost Boy is back behind the decks alongside Billy Scurry for a disco bloodbath. You always have the time of your life at Mother. It is an LGBTQI space. It's inclusive and fabulous and everyone's amazing. Go down to Lost Lane if you've never been before and have a dance with your brothers, sisters and your mother. I want to play another beautiful banger for you. This is Sinead White with Insert Coin.
I'm delighted to welcome the poet Geoff into Dublin City FM today. Geoff, you're very, very welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. It's something I want to touch upon more and to showcase more on Spotlight is poetry. So I thought, why not start with you?
Yeah, deadly. Thank you so much. Like, I mean, it's look, I love being a poet. I love being an artist. It's like I get really excited about it. Sorry.
No, you should. I love when someone's just like, I love being a poet. I mean, I love being a photographer, and I love listening to Irish music. And we should be passionate about the things that we adore. I mean, I think we listen to radio shows or we listen to arts programs, and they're like, yes, and now we have another book by another person, and you're like, no, where's the crack? Like,
no, and like poetry has contemporary poetry has moved on so far from that. Like most of the poets I know have no interest in getting published. Like they don't want, not that they don't want their stuff on, but it's spoken. It's kind of going back to the old tradition of storytelling, and we're just storytelling through poems again. And so that's and it's really important. And there's an amazing scene right across the country. It's kind of small but big in ways too. You know, you can get poetry any single night of the week in Dublin now.
Oh wow. Well, we're a nation of poets, so they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something that, like, you know, the government and whoever it is, like, really pushes forward when they're out there abroad talking about our greatest exports is our poets. And, you know, I think I do believe that. I do think we're inherently storytellers, and we like to tell them in a really beautiful, lyrical, like, poetic way. So it is really nice to hear that it's a vibrant life at the moment, that it's huge, everywhere. Yeah. And are they getting, like, the support and everything that they need, like? There's that tricky question. You're like, oh, don't answer that, Ruth. Don't answer that.
We could do a bit more support.
Absolutely.
But, like, it's kind of been, like, for the last while, it's kind of been like a punk revival, you know? Like, it's... there's no blueprint, or there was no blueprint for it. I mean, I suppose it's a little bit maybe changing slightly, but like I was just writing poems, you know, and I'm getting beaten up because, like, you know, like inner city Dublin lad, like, get writing poetry. It's not hardcore. But I didn't know that was a thing, you know. I didn't know there was a scene, or I definitely didn't know there was a scene. Yeah. And then I kind of stumbled upon, like, Stephen James Smith and Colin Keegan and John Cummins and like Carl Parkinson, and suddenly it's like, oh my God, like, this is relevant again, and these people are like, have got poems that are that I can connect with, you know. Whereas like when you're in school, like the joy of poetry is just stripped away.
It really is, isn't it? Like,
oh my God.
I wandered lonely as a cloud. I'm like, no, I can't. So, how amazing would it be to be learning contemporary poetry from, like, what could potentially be people who are only a couple of years older than you?
Well, they have that, like, on the junior cert at the moment, there is a lot of contemporary poets, and you can study one of my ones on it, like my letter to Leo. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's so sometimes I get, like, messages from teachers around the country to saying that they're using this with their students, which is really cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool, and it's used in some colleges as well, which is mad.
That's the marker of fame, isn't it? Having your poem on the intercert. You know what I mean? On the intercert. It's like, you know, when you get onto the late, we have certain kind of milestones in Irish.
That's it. Yeah.
Irish culture.
No, it's not officially on it, you know, because
they can study.
But they can study it.
Yeah. Oh, you do course a lot in it.
I course a lot anyway. Like, I'm going to try and hold myself back here, but no, I don't. I there's a couple of things in it, but it's, you know,
I'm not offended by cursing because it's just a different use of language, you know. And
it's a protest poem, you know. So it's not like like when I was writing it, like, I write in my own voice. So when I was writing that piece, I was angry, and that's how it came across. Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
No.
And I have a terrible mouth on me as well, but I'm always told on this radio station, remember not to swear.
Yeah.
Like, biting my tongue so hard.
Yeah, I know, it's tough. I'm like that in the back of my mind, just, you know, pretend you're nice, Geoff. Pretend you're nice.
Pretend you're lovely. You're lovely. So you mentioned there that, like, this kind of new age of poets have gone from they don't want to be published anymore. So do you mean, like, in written work, like, you know, in books and things?
It's not like people don't want to be published. Like, I got this one of my poems published, but it wasn't like
brilliant.
I was applying for it. You know, it was just somebody came to me and asked me could they use one of my poems, and I was like, yeah, that's great. And then they're using it, but I suppose it's not as important as for some poets over than others. You know, like I love performing. I love like performing. To give me the biggest crowd you can give me, and that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? I really love that people get to hear the poems that I write in my voice. You know, whereas I don't know if I can communicate that down the page. And maybe that's an excuse for not doing it, but like I do just love the performance aspect, and I spend a lot of time like in acting courses, and I did a course over the summer with Raymond Keane in clowning, all to kind of become more of an authentic performer on stage. So that's like, and that's what I'm really passionate about. Yeah.
So it is spoken word. That's performance.
Yeah.
It is all about the delivery and the timing and everything.
Absolutely.
I suppose you don't really get to control a lot of that when it's written on a page.
Yeah, and I kind of think it's the same as like, if you read a band's lyrics, you know, they can be really nice and you can have like a great connection to the lyrics, but they're meant to be sung, you know, and it's the same with my poems. They're meant to be heard, and they're meant to be heard in my voice, because I write in the vernacular, and you get like, some poems are a bit more inner city, you know, and my inner city accent comes out, and what's the bleeding story, you know, and it's supposed to be like that, you know, and that's where it's all coming from, you know.
Well, come here then. Will you give us a poem in your voice?
I will, yeah. I'll give you one I'll give you my inner city one. This one's called No Takebacks. Yeah, I don't like explaining my poems, so I'm just going to go straight into it.
Well, is this the one that's just been published, or is this a different
No,
one?
I'll do
Will you do both for us then at some point?
I will, yeah.
So do this one. I'll give you a break, and then you can do
thanks.
another one. All right, in your own time. I can't wait to hear this.
I come from a Dublin that's old school, with home truths and youths and shiny tracksuits. I come from a place where the best haircut was the step. People got wrecked and we were just let roam the streets freely. See, my gang was 10 deep. We'd spend our days hanging around corners, and when night came upon us we became night crawlers, getting into trouble running back to our mothers, yeah. We were right little gurriers. See, days were simple for us. Getting into trouble and getting out without much of a fuss. If we needed a ball, we doctor a card for sponsorship, door-to-door chancers. Will you sponsor us, miss? Getting just enough money for a cup champion football and a few bag of chips. See, this is the innocence that I miss. I remember the first time one of the lads had a dirty mag. I remember when Big Al missed Halloween because he got sick from smoking fags. I remember being 15 and getting served and drinking cans with the lads. I remember when Git told me he kicked a needle out of one of the lads' ODing in the flats, but we were happy little chaps. Hair gelled up and eyes under baseball caps. We'd slag off girls because we didn't want them to know that we liked them, or that we were into them, or that we'd spend all night dreaming of kissing them and all day pretending that we weren't looking at them, with the lads taking the absolute piss out of us because we wouldn't say we wanted to wear the face off them. As nights had faded, I got back to me gaff, spent some time with me dad and watched TV for a laugh, because ours was a house that was always full of laughter. Even when my brother died. Even when the banks were at the door demanding money, or they take our house, me in the corner quiet as a mouse, seeing this strange man shouting me out and giving out because the house was in her name, they could feck right off. Times after that were tight. But my ma was a fighter and she fought for all of us. When things were rough, she was there to pick us up. When I had to cover a hole in me running with cardboard, she said, once it doesn't rain, son, you'll be grand. That stopped making it awkward. This matriarch of incredible heart is the hero of this story. See, she once told me, they can take anything, son. They can't take your education. These are the words I lived my life on, so when others were out gurrying, I was in studying. When I didn't get the exact exam results I wanted and started worrying, she was there to comfort me, to encourage me to keep on going. And every time I get hockeyed out of my life, I just think of me ma, dad and his wife, how they didn't bring up their kids to feel sorry and to never worry, because no matter what they take, if you have your education, you could take it back. And sometimes I think back to those lads in the flats with their hair gelled up and eyes on their baseball caps, and I think, what if they'd listened to words from someone like my ma? They could still be here. Instead, they're either dead or they're strung out in smack. Thanks.
Jesus.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't have many light poems, and
That's not light. It's beautiful, but it's
thanks.
It's deep, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
and you're so right. When you're looking around to people that didn't have a mum, like a strong matriarchal figure or someone who supports them, what chance do they have? Like,
Yeah.
oh, just. So you don't really like sunshine.
No, I do. Well, my ma gives out to me because she's like, Jesus, Geoff, you have to have something. I'm like, no, I'm actually quite a happy person, you know. But it's like
you're
that.
happy because you're channeling everything that you need
completely.
to say through your art, you know. So I mean, I like it's probably a necessity, is it?
Absolutely,
for you?
absolutely. Oh, I've been doing it since I was, 12, 13, 14, some age like that. Like I've just been constantly writing. Started with poetry, tried to go into music, was dreadful at that. Tried to go into rap. My God, I was terrible at that. There's no way I should have been. Somebody should have told me to stop way before that. But then I went back to poetry. So it's always been something that I've been doing. Yeah.
How did you how did you come to poetry?
Well, I loved it in school. So I loved The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I kind of felt like that I was understood, that somebody would understand me, because I was like I was always different growing up, and so I loved it. And but then in school, because of the way they teach it, like they're not looking for your opinion. They're looking for you to get points in the leaving cert.
I know.
And it just takes all of the joy and the love and the beauty, and they drain it. They're sucking the marrow from the bone of it all, and leaving you with nothing to connect with at all. And that's not what it should be about. So I just disconnected from it, and it was just like, feck it, I'll just start writing my own.
Yeah.
And just in poetry class, I used to just write away on my books, and switched off completely.
And did your teacher look at you writing these poems and kind of go, "Oh my God, this guy's a genius"?
Well, no, absolutely nobody's ever looked at me like that.
I look at you like that now. Me and your ma will both look at you.
Yeah, my ma does. Yeah, you're right. No, they didn't know, because I was cripplingly shy in school. So I was like the child that nobody noticed, and which was fine for me. I was like left to my own devices in the class. I'd sit in the corner. Nobody really asked me questions, and I did all right in school. So when I was asked questions, I could answer them. But most of the time, I was switched off. I wasn't there. Yeah.
In your own little world.
On my own little world.
It's not a bad place to be.
I've made up a lovely world to be in, though. You know what I mean? And my own little world in my head is mad. But
that's where the good times live, and you can do what you need to do. Have you got another poem in your for us?
Yeah. So this one's just been published, and I'm making a video for it soon. It'll be my next video.
Is that important video there for?
I think so. Yeah, it's the way of getting it out in your voice. I don't know, people sit around and listen to poems on Spotify. I've never really tried it, but I think when I do videos, they get viewed quite a lot, and they can kind of stretch far and wide.
And do you have to have a sense of the visuals then as well? Like, do you become the director, or do you give it to someone else?
I give it to somebody, because it's not what I do.
Yeah.
And I anytime I collaborate with artists, which has been a lot over the years, that I just think, I know what I'm doing from writing and stuff like that, and they know what they're doing and whatever field that they're going into. So I don't like meddling, and sometimes they ask my opinion and I'll give it, but for the most part I'm just like, you take over and do your thing.
You're the professional, you go do you, I'll do this.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And it works in the relationships that I've had with artists, that there's a trust there right from the beginning, and we just say it as it is, and then I'm like, I'll do my thing, you do your thing, and we'll come together.
It's a fantastic way to be. Well, listen, I'm really enjoying hearing your work in your own voice, because I think,
Thanks.
The way you said it earlier, it is so important. It is.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we hope to do this poetry segment a lot more frequently on Spotlight, because it is a medium that lends itself really well to poetry. Yeah. So I'd just like to invite our listeners now to just kind of sit back and have a listen to this one. And really enjoy hearing poetry on the radio. Geoff, thank you so much. If people are looking for more of your work, where can they find it?
On Instagram and Twitter, you can get me at The Poet Geoff, and it's with a Geoff, and then it's on YouTube as well. You can search some of my poems on YouTube. Yeah.
So The Poet Geoff will be looking out for you. So will you play us out with another poem in your own time?
Yeah, this one's called Panic Attack. Breathe. Breathe. It's okay. Slow it down. Breathe. You're in control. Breathe. Focus on your heart rate. Control it. Slow. Breathe. Focus. Don't let that thought in. Slow it down. Breathe. Don't let that thought in. Don't let that thought in. Don't let that thought in. This is your mantra. Don't let that thought in. This is so overwhelming. Don't let that thought in. Here it comes. Hold the bridge of my nose, squeeze eyes, rub forehead. Breath deepens. Heavier. Heavier is not good. I can't catch. I can't catch. I can't catch. I've done nothing wrong. It was just that I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't know it was going to be this way. I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to be over. I can't catch. I can't catch. I can't catch. Tears. Tears. Where the did they come from? Cheeks soak up grief like some sponges. Each tear feels forced like lightning exploded from its thunder shower. I'm scared. I can't catch my breath. What am I even saying anymore? Heart skips like a boxer trying to be knocked out. Mind races like I've ADHD and no Ritalin. The world blurs. Everything blurs. You sob with remorse. Sob with pity. Sob with regret. You empty yourself through your tear ducts. Why is this so hard? Why can't I just breathe? I've done my penance. I've done my penance. You can't feel your fingers anymore. What if I never feel them again? What if I never feel again? Heart thumps. It's squeezed. Everything's squeezed. I can't catch my breath. I can't catch my breath. I can't catch. I can't catch. I can't catch. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't let myself admit that this is a panic attack. Thanks.
That was amazing. It was like slightly uncomfortable. Like I think it's supposed to be uncomfortable.
It's supposed to be. It's funny. Like it's for people who've never had a panic attack to try and give them a sense of what it feels like. And when I've sent it to other friends that have gone through similar, like have gone through panic attacks. They're like, yeah, that's it, you know. And but people are like, are you not afraid of it? Is you sitting somebody who gets panic attacks? I'm like, it doesn't happen like that, you know.
No, it's not like epilepsy, looking at lights or anything. But I do feel my heart rate has risen and my skin is tingling, and I'm like, oh god, yeah, thanks. So, but that is a beautiful performance, a very strong performance. I do think we will have to bleep one tiny word out there, but that's grand.
Sorry.
It's fine. Sorry. Geoff, thank you so much for coming on Spotlight and reciting some poetry. Hopefully we'll get you back in another time.
Absolutely, anytime at all, yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks a million.
Let's keep it Irish. Let's keep it banging. This is Somebody's Child with their song Sell It.
I fell on heavy ground, it hurt.
I think we could do with a bit of a bop right now. What do you think? Here is Happy Alone with their song Breathe on Me.
Summertime is ripe for picking. People dying over drinking. Nasty clothes are bruising faces. Mirrors full of razor blades. But that's just life round here. Oh, that's just life round here. So breathe on me, 'cause I feel nothing. I want something. I can feel my face, 'cause I've been drinking, overthinking everything, oh, everything, oh, everything. So just breathe on me, 'cause I need something. Won't you help me feel it? Wouldn't it be nice to talk sometimes inside of wounds, but outside's fine. And as it close, I bruising faces, mirrors full of razor blades. But that's just life round here. Oh, that's just life round here. So breathe on me, 'cause I feel nothing. I want something. I can feel my face, 'cause I've been drinking, overthinking everything, oh, everything, oh, everything. So just breathe on me, 'cause I need something. Won't you help me feel it? Breathe on me, 'cause I feel nothing. I want something. I can feel my face, 'cause I've been drinking, overthinking everything, oh, everything, oh, everything. So just breathe on me, 'cause I need something. Won't you help me feel it?
Okay, I want to play a tune for you, but like, I'm not really sure how to pronounce this dude's name. I'm pretty sure it's Kean Kavanagh, Kean, right? But like, what if it's all Irish and it's like Sean but with a K? And I'm like, that doesn't exist. But anyway, here's Kean Kavanagh with Heart Attacks. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey, oh shit. Now that I'm alone, there's never any way to force the start. I leave the house when it's still dark, transforming younger as I stroll. And only you know the sickness in my eyes. Yes, only you
am delighted now to welcome into Dublin City FM studios the fabulous brand new recording artist Kez. Kez, you're very welcome.
Thanks so much. Delighted to be here.
You released your brand new single, How Can You Not See, on the 14th of October. We gave it a spin last week and we love it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So it's your first single.
My first single, yeah.
Nerve-wracking?
Yeah, it's been nerve-wracking for sure. Yeah, I've been sitting on that song for about 2 years now, so it's definitely taken me a lot to finally release it and put it out into the internet and the world.
I know, and to have people finally listen to something, I suppose if you're sitting on it for so long, you just want people to hear it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always a nerve-wracking process, you know, you're kind of laying yourself bare and opening yourself up. It's a very vulnerable position, but yeah, I'm really happy with it and kind of happy with myself that I finally grew the balls to do it.
I'm very proud of you too, and we're delighted because we get to hear your banging tunes, which is fantastic. So you recorded this, or you've been sitting on it for a couple of years. Is that when you started to make music?
Not really. I mean, I've been writing kind of since the end of college, really. And then up until then, I was always really doing covers and stuff like that. I mean, I've been playing guitar and piano since I was a teenager, and I've been singing for as long as I can remember, since I was like a little kid. And yeah, I always just played covers. I mean, that's how I learned how to play guitar. That's how I kind of picked up bits on the piano as well.
What would your go-to covers be? What are you a big fan of?
Go-to covers. I did a lot of kind of Irish folk songs. Like I'd always sing Black is the Colour.
Wow.
Which is, I believe it's not a Christy Moore song, but I think he kind of made it famous. He did
does
a
that.
famous rendition of it.
He takes songs and makes them his own.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, Christy.
Yeah. And I would always sing Fever by Peggy Lee, which is actually a bit of a kind of old school tune. And I kind of turned it into an acoustic song. So that was always my go-to kind of party pleaser.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to play a few songs for us today, which I'm enthralled about because you say you only wrote one a couple of days ago. Am I right? Like
Yeah.
the one that you're going to play for us as well, which is just fantastic. So you must be quite a prolific writer in that sense. And do you feel like you've kind of hit your stride a bit now that one is out into the world? There's more coming.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's kind of funny. I've actually been having a bit of a writer's block for the last couple of months. Maybe it was, I don't know, the nerves of releasing stuff, or just, you know, my head was kind of in other places getting ready for the release. But things are kind of, things are flowing up. As you said, I wrote a song like over the weekend, so fingers crossed that'll go down okay today.
It will. We'll be honoured to hear you, you play it. So a little bit then about the song. Are you going to play your single first?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I'll play How Can
Just
You Not See.
tell me a little bit about that, like a little bit about the context, the lyrical inspiration in it.
Yeah, so this was one of those really magical songs that just kind of arrives out of your mouth. I was very hungover when I wrote it, and it's funny. I think often, you know, when you're in these kind of weird liminal spaces, like you're hungover or you're really sick, sometimes your kind of defenses are down, and sometimes songs just come out more easily. So I was very hungover when I wrote it, and it just arrived, and it was almost fully formed. I kind of tweaked the lyrics a bit and rearranged the structure. But yeah, it's I guess quite a personal song. I mean, I was kind of in a relationship with someone that was having a hard time, struggling. And, you know, there's kind of a bit of melancholy in this song, but also a little bit of frustration. You know, it's kind of like, how can you not see that you're kind of in this place, and there's, you know, you're kind of self-destructing, and I guess kind of also draw on my own experience of kind of depression, and, you know, looking at someone else going through that and kind of wanting them to be okay. So yeah, it's, you know, a bit of a sensitive song, but I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah,
so.
the best songs are the sensitive ones. And you're right, though, being hungover is a quite a vulnerable position to be in when you're suddenly like looking at your life choices and reevaluating things and going, what am I doing? But okay. Listen, take it away in your own time. We'd love to hear it.
Thanks. Can you not see? The broken bridge between your body and your soul, 'cause you're shaking in the morning light, hands twisting under evening sky. I see a boy look out from your eyes. You hear demons in sweet lullabies. Can you not see? The light that flickers as you speak. You're shaking in the morning light, hands twisting under evening skies. All the pain that you hold inside, did it ever make you feel alive? 'Cause you're shaking in the morning light, hands twisting under evening skies. Green bottles take you through the night. Hail Mary's by your bedside. Can you not see? The lonely man that stands in front of me. Here's a shoulder to rest your head, lips to tell you that you're loved. There's a stillness in my open hand. It'll lead you to a quiet
That was absolutely gorgeous. The beautiful How Can You Not See by Kez played live here in Dublin City FM.
Thanks.
That was stunning. It was
Oh, thank
really,
you.
really stunning. You've got just an incredible voice. Have you always been told that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. My family are all singers.
Right.
I have 3 siblings, and it was just kind of normal in my house growing up that we'd all be singing. I remember my brother; he's the youngest. Like when he was a baby, he was like singing in his cot all the time, and he's still constantly singing around the house. So I guess it was just always something that as a
Yeah.
family we had. So it wasn't really
a big musical family. Well, they must be delighted seeing you with your first single out now into the world and getting such a rave reception everywhere.
Yeah, maybe. Not sure. I think so.
Maybe when they're listening to this, they'll be like, "Oh, there she is. There's our girl."
Yeah.
So you're quite new to the release world then, because your first one just came out there on the 14th of October. What's your process then? Are you going to go hell for leather and trying to build an album now? Are you writing? Are you recording? Or where are you in your journey?
Yeah. So I've been writing, for the last like 3-4 years. So I've got a bunch of material that's just kind of been stewing away. And I have like loads of songs, and actually it was funny during COVID. I think COVID obviously put a spanner in the works in the music industry and in everyone's lives. But I'd been living in California before COVID, and I'd just come back to Ireland, and I was kind of hoping to dive headfirst into the kind of music scene and get back into things. And then COVID happened, and I found it quite tricky to meet people. And I was collaborating with James Smith, a friend of mine who releases music under the name J Smith. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that was great, but we were in that weird time where you couldn't go like 5 kilometers from your house, and everyone was, like going to the shops and buying loo roll manically.
And it sounds so bizarre now, doesn't it, when you think back to like, oh yeah, we couldn't leave our 5 kilometers, or 2 kilometers.
Yeah, so crazy. And I think collaborations, I mean, there was a lot of like Zoom collabs happening, but I think it's kind of like a personal thing maybe, and everyone makes music differently and relates to it differently, but I think there's something really special, and kind of there's like an energy when people get in a room together in like a physical space, and it was just really hard to kind of let that happen. So I found it quite difficult to kind of find collaborators or people to work with, and it's kind of like an interesting process for me, because going from writing these songs on a guitar or piano, whatever, and then figuring out how you're actually gonna squash it into a tin and present it to people, which is like the production process, is a whole different thing. And I'd been kind of over the last few years getting better at the software side of things, Ableton, etc. And but I knew that I wanted to work with someone to help with the production side of things. So
of course, I mean, reaching out to people, like that's how you learn from other people. It's how they open up kind of your mind to a different spin on things. And
definitely.
I think collaboration in any art form is incredibly essential, really.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, I knew I was just like isolated as hell during lockdown, kind of going, I need people in my life again.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people felt that. Yeah. But I mean, you're coming out to us now with this beautiful single, and then maybe you're like, you said there that you had writer's block for the last few months or whatever. So yeah, maybe it's all kind of like kind of cyclical as well. You went through this process of finding a new way to make songs kind of without people, and then you're getting into collaborations again, and there's a rhythm and a everything to it. Plus as well, there's a whole branding or imagery process to what you're doing, because you've got a gorgeous video as well to go along with this. So how much thought do you put into that side of things? It's like not just the music, there's the imagery, there's the brand, there's your web presence, there's everything else.
Yeah, I think that's actually really exciting. I mean, we live in like a very visual world. I mean, people are kind of, on Instagram and like the younger generations on TikTok and everything these days.
Younger generations, I'm looking at you and I'm just like, you are that generation.
I know. I'm thinking of like, teens.
But it is. Everyone's looking at their screen, and I think often we come to new music with our eyes before our ears.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
So there is. I think the visual component is.
It's me smacking the microphone around.
No, the visual component is super interesting, and it's part of the song as well. You're kind of telling a story, and a melody or a certain kind of refrain or the lyrics tell the story, but the visual component is also, kind of, I think Björk describes it as like a rapper, you like put a wrapper around a song, which is kind of like all the visual elements of it, which is really cool.
That's such a nice way of thinking about it. Like it's a little sweet or a chocolate, and then like the visuals are the wrapper.
Yeah. So I
Gosh,
thought that was kind of cool.
You can always trust Bjork to just nail things for you, can't you? And it's
Yeah.
like, and she's the queen of visuals as anyway.
Mm.
So would you play us another song?
I will.
What are you going to play next for us?
So I'm going to play this song that I wrote over the weekend. Had a very random weekend. I was meant to go foraging and the car broke down. So ended up sitting in a park for like 3 hours and trying to figure out this song.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's relatively new, but we're going to give it a go.
Good use of emergency downtime.
Absolutely.
What's this one called, or does it have a name yet?
More Than a Woman.
Okay, nice one. Take it away in your own time, please, Kez.
Try to be delicate, a leaf in your hand, pretty little thing. Oh, you're such a big man. You took my photograph when my eyes were closed. I did not recognize those terrible bones. But you came to me from on high, just like a melody. You fell from the sky with bells round your neck like a symphony. Oh, but I can't be more than a woman for you. I tried my best, in the end even that would not do. I can't be more than a woman for you. 'Cause trial I might, but sometimes there are people you lose. So I'll rearrange myself, out of my way. Cost me $500 to New York State. And on my arrival, your look of dismay, well, here is for hoping want me someday. But you came to me from on high, just like a melody, to be held in your gaze, to be led by the faith that you'd never leave. Oh, but I can't be more than a woman for you. I tried my best, in the end even that would not do. I can't be more than a woman for you. 'Cause babe, there are times when there's people you lose. 'Cause I tried my best in the end, even that would not do. 'Cause I can be more than a woman for you.
Wow. I mean, it's so raw and it's so intimate and it's so vulnerable and it's just soulful.
Oh, thank you.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and I feel so humbled and honoured that you would play it for us here today after writing it just a couple of days ago.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was sitting in a park, and a couple sat next to me. They were just drinking their kind of Saturday morning coffees. So I have them to thank as well for listening to me go through it. And the lady said to me afterwards, she said, sounds like you have a tree in your voice, which I thought was an interesting
Tree?
thing to say, yeah.
Did she specify like birch or oak?
No. She said, it sounds like you have a tree in your voice. So I thought that was kind of a nice image.
I mean, sure. I
Yeah.
don't think I understand,
No.
but yeah, maybe. Yeah, but there's definitely something in there. And so, did you have your guitar, or were you just like noodling away?
Yeah, I was just kind of noodling away, yeah. And I had a gig on that night, so I was also just using it as a bit of a practice time,
Great.
killing time while waiting for AA, which, yeah, they came eventually. It took about 2.5 hours, but they came.
Oh, bless. Well, 2.5 hours well spent, though. In
Yeah.
fairness, you're sitting there writing a song. I'm just, I'm so in awe of musicians because I can't write or anything. Like it's not my vibe. But just to watch, someone create a song, it's almost like watching that Beatles documentary where you're like, oh my God, they're just making a song right in front of us. It's just so fascinating. I think to everyone, the fact that you can just bring this to life.
Yeah, it's really amazing process, actually. I mean, like a lot of, I guess, songwriters and musicians or whatever, kind of will say that it comes from this other world or it kind of arrives from somewhere. And yeah, I do think that it's like, it's very kind of connected to your spirit.
Yeah, well, it should be. You know what I mean? Like that's what I feel like. That's what makes a good song is that it is. It's the performers, it's the singers, it's the writer's own soul being expressed. It has this, or maybe it's because we're recording this the week of Samhain, the week of Halloween, or I'm just like, oh, this other world is being tapped into.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the power in your songs as well. Talk to me then a little bit about like so you said you lived in California for a while, and were you playing there?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of open mics and kind of small gigs and stuff. I really loved living there. I was in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and it was a great place.
And do you does the environment in which you live have much of an effect on your songwriting, would you find?
Oh, totally, yeah. I mean, California, there's a lot of kind of surf rock,
Yeah.
a lot of like garage bands, and it's a completely different sound. A lot of it's, it's related to environment, it's related to the weather. I mean, it's sunny a lot there, and so you get these kind of fun, kind of
Did
more
your songs
up-tempo.
get darker when you moved back?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's something about, Irish music that has a melancholy to it. You know, there's...
You could play a rain track over it and it would make total sense.
Completely. But yeah, I mean, San Francisco was cool, but living there, it's kind of, I feel anyway, maybe where Dublin could kind of get to. San Francisco, I think in the 60s and the 70s, it was all free love, and it was kind of like the end of the road were all these kind of hippies and, the kind of psychedelics boom started there, and there was, it was a real creative hive at one point in time.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, money kind of took over the city, and, I didn't really find the music scene in San Francisco. I mean, there were open mics and stuff like that, but it didn't have a really thriving music scene. But you could kind of feel that there was almost this kind of like, this ghost of, this kind of energetic ghost that was once there,
Of what
but
it
kind of got
was.
sucked out of the city. And,
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when cities don't kind of prioritize
Arts and culture.
over,
Yeah.
you know,
Hotels.
yeah, and
We do see that a lot, and I think even in just like my lifetime living in Dublin, I've been through recessions, I've been through mass exodus and like emigration patterns where the musicians, you know, it was when I graduated college in 2008, there was a mass exodus and everyone moved to London and to Australia. And now I'm finding that all of my musician friends are moving to Berlin and moving to Brussels and Amsterdam, and I'm like, oh, they're gone again. You know, we do get that, but I think that's an Irish way of life as well, that there's more of us living abroad than there is ever living here, you know. But I think we'll always be a nation of songwriters and storytellers, and I think we'll all have that melancholy and pain that needs to come out in one way or another, which it's a good point. We'll finish now on your last song, if you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind playing one more for us.
of course.
So tell us a little bit what you're going to play next.
So I'm gonna play a song called Overgrown.
Right.
I was kind of experimenting with different tunings on the guitar, so I might have to change the tuning of this in a minute. But yeah, it's a bit of a personal song. I guess it's about, you know, being in a relationship that probably should have ended like 5 years ago, but it's still going on.
Oh, sure, look, we all have those stories, I tell you.
Yeah.
Everyone's probably listening to this going, yeah, we know that one.
And I grew up in a place called Glenismole, which is in the Dublin Mountains. And we've a garden at home that is very overgrown. It's just covered in stuff but it's beautiful, but it's very overgrown. And I was just looking out my window one day trying to noodle on this song, and it just kind of arrived. So Overgrown.
Guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us today and treating us to your brand new songs. We wish you all the luck in the world for your album and your new releases and whatever else you have coming down the road for you. I have no doubt we're going to be hearing way more of you. So thank you so much, and she'll leave us with Overgrown.
Came up from below, little seeds that you sowed when you were just a child, had your mother's smile, and it rose between us, so you knelt in a prayer, the tears were streaming this bed you prepared, and the silence grew like thorns through the garden. The water in the fountain had run dry, so why are we holding on when what we had is gone? Come on, let's cut it down right to the cold, hard ground. For your disappointments were a poison vine. You picked its fruits, drunk its wine, 'cause the words unspoken, like lead in your throat. Oh, the weight of your choices bearing down on us both. Did I know nothing of the end of love? It's a hollow feeling, not being enough. So why are we holding on when what we had is gone? We're overgrown. So
Thanks for sticking with us here on Spotlight on Dublin City FM. I'm still Ruth Medjber, of course. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you've missed any of it, don't stress. You can play back and catch up on all of your podcast platforms. That's YouTube, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for Spotlight with Ruth Medjber and you will find us. If you're enjoying the show, feel free to drop us an email. spotlight@dublincityfm.ie is where you will find us. I am Ruthless Imagery on all social media platforms. Send me a DM. You know what, lads? This is your show as much as it is mine. It's a community radio station. It's a community show. There is no such thing without of arts and culture without you. So I am looking to you for connections, for hookups, for suggestions and for advice of what to not only play here in terms of new music, but what events to cover. If you have a market stall somewhere, if you have an art exhibition, if you're putting on a movie night or a sponsored walk or anything like that you've heard us talk about here today, send us an email, clue me in, and I will gladly shine the spotlight on your event. That's what we're here for. That is absolutely what we're here for. So drop us a line. There's just so many events happening this weekend. Honestly, you're not going to be stuck for anything to do. Even Rascals Brewery are showing Beetlejuice on Sunday, October 30th at 7 o'clock. That's always a good place to just go and get a pint and a pizza. It's a brilliant space. If you fancy doing something good for the community, you could go on a sponsored walk up at the Hellfire Club. I don't know if I'd be up for walking around the Hellfire Club at Halloween. I think it might be a little bit too creepy. But anyway, this Saturday the 29th, €10 for adults to do this sponsored walk around the Hellfire. And all of the proceeds and donations will go to support the homeless community because it's freezing out there and, you know, just bless the people who are homeless. So yeah, go along to this. They encourage fancy dress. There'll be like food vans and ice cream and a disco. Sounds like good crack and you'll be doing something good and worthwhile. Let's play a new banger from April. April, who I adore. She just brings the bops, doesn't she? This is so good at being lonely.
Cancel all your plans. There's a reason you're alone this time. Everybody else has seen you coming down online. Use me like a friend, but treat me like a man. Rolling down the windows like it's California. Smoking 20, pushing 30, never good for you. Haven't said a word about your feelings in a year. Sleeping with the shadow in the room we never painted. Never gonna do it if we know we won't make it. Deep down I know you just like me. You are so good at being lonely. I know your body waits for me. Say you're sober, stone alone over and over. You are so good at
Enjoying the show and want to get in touch? You can email us spotlight@dublincityfm.ie or find me personally on social media at Ruthless Imagery on all accounts.
You know what? The greatest thing about Halloween for me is the Treehouse of Horror, right? With Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It was always so exciting when you knew that they were going to bring out a new one. Like, it beats the Christmas episodes every year. Anyway, so if you're into that as much as I am, and sure, why wouldn't you be? Get yourself down to Hen's Teeth for Slaughterhouse. Intimate cult horror screenings, okay? But what they're also doing is they're showing Treehouse of Horrors, but there's also a print run by animator and illustrator Emma Murphy. She'll be selling limited edition fine art prints inspired by The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. I just think that's fantastic. So that's Monday the 31st of October in Hen's Teeth. Also, if you're looking something like a little bit more family friendly to do, there is a spooky Halloween, I think it's like a treasure hunt happening around St. Stephen's Green. It takes about 30 minutes to do, and it is designed for families. So you can get involved by emailing treasurehunt@funplace.ie, and then they'll send you back your first clue, and then off you go to Stephen's Green. They're doing it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're doing it pretty much all week. And it'll be running from Friday the 7th of October until Tuesday the 1st of November. And yeah, it's great crack. And I think it's all around funplace.ie, which is Ireland's oldest joke shop. Oh God, what a brilliant, brilliant time to be alive and to have a family and go running around Stephen's Green dressed like a lunatic. Now, who wants to have a good 6-minute lean into a song with me? You know the band or the act For Those I Love. You can't have missed them. They won the Choice Awards. It's a beautiful piece of art that he created. It's an entire record made in response to the death of his friend and his bandmate Paul. And honestly, when I first heard this, it floored me. I was like, this is so emotional. It's so raw. It's a perfect example of an artist channeling all of their expression into their art form. It's an album that if you haven't heard it, go buy it on vinyl. It'll serve you for years and years and years. This is a remix, the Over Mono remix of I Have a Love.
Lads on steads knocking heads from the 2x2 fuck you punk stage to a warehouse rave with a bloke we met on the way dancing till day. I have a love and it never fades, full of plights and gripes like Achilles who loves fights, like you did, right? Like we did twice. I love you beyond life. I have a love and it never fades. You are God's son across the belly, remembered by pictures on your telly, your body laying in its glow, surrounded by those you know, crying for your words and your soul. And that final loss of your glimmer of hope that we heard every time that you spoke, choked up rooms and blocks and venues and lads and moths with words that spoke soft of those lost. Now we send you off on funeral clothes. I have a love and it never fades, from red garden sheds to watching lads on steads knocking heads, from the 2x2 you punk stage to a warehouse rave with a bloke we met on the way dancing till day. I have a love and it never fades, full of plights and gripes like Achilles who loves fights, like you did, right? Like we did twice. I love you beyond life. I have a love and it never fades. You are God's son across the belly, remembered by pictures on your telly, your body laying in its glow, surrounded by those you know, crying for your words and your soul. I have a love and it never fades, from the space where we learn to be brave grave and face guards, grief and knaves, and late days that could shame and break saints with the weight of the city's hate from the smothering state. But every cent we could take went on the art that we'd make. We'd go straight through the day on a rake of empty plates, up to 8 of us pulling 10 quid to make something great. So our love will never fade, our love will never fade. That remains would shape the memory that stays. Even now we can see our face when those chords are replayed. Arm around me shoulder in teenage embrace. Tell all your friends, I'd say, I have a love and it never fades. Now a long way from school days, sharing books at Big Break with the two of us and Barry and Craig, talking tunes and poems with too much weight for our age. So I played this song for you in the car stereo in the night's breeze. This bit kicked in with its synths and its keys, and you smiled as you sat next to me. You in the front, Gilly in the backseat going 90 to the sound as we roared down the street. The other boys stomping feet and me in utter disbelief from the joy and the breaking the beats. We got out and stood by that Kia Rio cage stage, and I felt like I had it all. Cause I have a love and it'll never fade, and either will you, Paul.
We're going to keep it banging here. This is Eden with Reaching 2.
I saw the northern lights at 19, but finally in the sky, staying up like that shit easy. Feeling like my core, make a meal just like it's easy. But should I save a world that would never save me? And I've been burning both ends like I'm trying to see the end of time. Fucking like we fell in love with wasted life. What you waiting for? We won't always feel this way. Would you have time, girl, what you want? Don't you wanna feel right, standing on your ones, like you want? Yeah. It's just how I feel sometimes. I told you it's gonna be alright, but I only hear about you through friends now. Yeah. I didn't feel the time slip by. On the arms of my friends to a bitter end. I'm it's gonna be alright. I only hear about you through friends. I didn't feel the time slip by. I didn't know it was the last goodbye. Guess we are who we are to another. It's just how I feel sometimes. I told you it's gonna be alright. I only hear about you through friends. Didn't feel the time slip by. I didn't know that was the last goodbye. I guess we are who we are to another. And I don't wanna feel like I'm preaching. I wanna.
If you want to go dancing, and sure, who doesn't? It's Halloween weekend. Of course you want to go dancing. Lumo is back. Lumo, of course, is an amazing... I don't know what this... It's a club, but they call it like a house party with your friends, because that's kind of what it is. That's the tunes that they play. They always play good bops, like electronic pop, 80s jams, like 90s dance floor fillers, all this stuff. But the thing is, Lumo is 7 years old. Lumo, of course, is like Niall Nine, Simon Roach and Gavin Elstead. 3 great DJs. When they combine, it's like the power of Grayskull. They're awesome. I still can't believe their club is 7 years old. I remember when that started, and now I feel really, 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 really old. But it is a good place to go hang out if, you know, like me, you're quite old. It's in Tengu, which is around the back of, Yamamori. So kind of around the back of the Grand Social. That is going to be happening this weekend. It's just going to be whopper. It's a monthly club, but this is their celebration for their 7th. You'll love it. Now, you know I love my Irish music, new and old, and, you know, few years out, whatever it is. It doesn't, you know, I only play Irish music here because we have loads of it. None of this excuse that, like, oh, we just don't have the quality of music to play all Irish. Yes, we do. We're a nation of songwriters and storytellers and incredible musicians. I want to play a tune that I fell in love with a few years ago, and it's stuck with me, and it's amazing, and it's a total, like, just great crack. Like, this is Gemma Dunleavy, and this is her song Up the Flats.
Remember I was younger and you were shining true. I wanted to feel it, so I had to bury you. See, I was never one to take instruction, I was never one to fall in love. Sometimes I can lack direction, feel I'm never feel at home with you. Could never feel alone with you. Na 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 na. No one understands how it feels to be with you, and I'm never looking back no more. They said we had nothing, but we had it all. Shouting up the flex from the rooftops. No one understands how it feels to be with you, and I'm never looking back no more. We could have had nothing, but we had it all. Shouting up the flex from the rooftops. Shouting up the flex from the rooftops. I ain't breaking name on pillars of the earth. Pillars of the earth. And every time I hear them call my name, something about it makes me feel away. I feel away. For all the times I said I'd move away, I'm thinking, Gemma, why you going insane? We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. Ooh, we'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops. We'll be shouting up the flats from the rooftops.
That's about all the time we have this week. Thank you so much for joining us here on Dublin City FM. Like I mentioned, I am going to be back with a Spotlight Sound special. Ooh. On Monday night. I'm going to be doing it live from the studio from 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. It'll be an hour of bone tingling, chilling Irish songs that are all kind of like Samhain related. I'm doing a lot of research into this, so I promise it will be good. So do tune in for that. Have an amazing Halloween weekend, lads. Honestly, it's like the most exciting weekend of the year for me. I don't know if I mentioned that like a million times already. Thank you for tuning in for us today. Drop us a line, spotlight@dublincityfm.ie, or contact me on DMs at Ruthless Imagery if you have anything you want to send our way. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Still looking for new Irish music? Check out our previous episodes in the archive for more live sessions, interviews and tunes. Until then, I'll see you next week.